A while ago, I made a list of games with the question, is this political? Since the definition of politics in the gaming space is never consistent among those who love to use that label as a pejorative. Considering current events, it seems only right that I would remember one of those games on the list was about a time in Iran's history that fundamentally changed it for the foreseeable future. So let's get into it, shall we? If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This game is like something you'd get from Telltale, with its focus on narrative and player choices. In all honesty, your choices don't change much. It's not that I expected to change the course of history. No matter what you do, you end up in the same place. But I knew going in that this was more about the individual experience of that time. That time being the last of the 1970s, when anger with the Shah boiled over in a bloody revolution. And the game is not shy about why this happened or who had a hand in it. You see, we play as a young Iranian man who wants to be a photojournalist. And throughout the story, we take pictures that often come with their real-life counterparts, providing more context to what was going on at the time. Playing this now felt disquieting. As you can imagine, because the current events are not the first time America has meddled with Iran's affairs. And we, the British, played a huge role in that as well. I don't usually call myself British, but I say we, as despite considering myself Scottish and wishing Scotland was not a part of the UK, that doesn't mean we get to pretend we weren't part of the empire that hurt innumerable people. In 1953, MI6 and the CIA instigated a coup to protect British oil interests in Iran after the Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh nationalized the country's oil industry. Imagine doing something so utterly selfish and cruel as destabilizing an entire country, an entire region, because your richest people want to be richer, or you needed a very big distraction, for no particular reason. Among other things, that coup led to the establishment of a dictatorship under the increased royal power of Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who was more amenable to Western demands, surveillance, repression, and torture of dissidents by the Savak secret police, who were trained by the French, mass amounts of corruption that left many in the country either poverty-stricken or outright homeless, disregard of Islamic traditions to the point of pissing off and alienating an entire demographic of people. This went on until it began to boil over from early 1978 to early 1979, where multiple groups were working together to bring down the Shah's regime, even if they can't fully agree on how exactly that should be done and what should come afterwards. With that as the backdrop, we're placed in the shoes of Reza, our photojournalist. In January 1980, Reza is developing photos in a Tehran safe house. A woman called Bibi rushes in, telling us to get the plans, because we've been found out. We grab the plans and try to escape, but no matter what we do, Reza ends up captured and taken to Evin, a prison of horrific repute. The story of Reza's involvement in the revolution is framed through his interrogation by Asadullah Lajevardi, the warden, also known by his moniker the Butcher of Evin, but from Reza he demands to be addressed as Hajaga, something he did in real life as well, which is an honorific that confers deference or respect. He and Reza were both part of the forces that overthrew the Shah and now find themselves on opposing sides as the religious fundamentalists have taken power. This is the most tragic part of it to me, the fact that change was desperately needed and necessary, but all it's led to is an even crueler regime whose justification is God himself rather than the divine right of kings, wielding the fear of Western imperialism like a cudgel. And that is not a fear that comes out of nowhere. It is grounded in very real interference in the state of Iran and the desire of Western powers to control it, through violence if need be, because it all comes back to f***ing oil, and it's our fault. Which is not to absolve the Iranian government of its wrongdoings, not at all, but far too often the country is viewed as some nebulously evil place that is biologically hardwired to hate America for no reason. In the prison, Asadullah questions Reza about his recruitment into the revolution, being rough with him, threatening him with all manner of mistreatment and outright torture if he doesn't give up his allies and what they're planning. We flash back to September 7th, 1978, Tehran. Reza is with his friend Babak, who asked him to come and see the demonstration today, wanting him to take pictures and show the world what's going on in Iran, but also hoping that it might inspire Reza to take a side in the struggle. To that end, he offers Reza a cassette tape upon which is a speech by Ruhollah Khomeini, a Shia cleric living in exile before the revolution, who went on to become the first supreme leader of Iran. These tapes were used to spread his message covertly and helped to undermine the mythology of the monarchy. A lot of the tension comes from Reza's reluctance to get involved as he brushes up against impassioned protesters and the ruling authorities, but he nonetheless does his part in taking pictures, documenting the events unfolding around him. Making it to the stage, we see the representatives of different groups standing up there, the most notable of which being Bibi, who we saw at the beginning, and Abbas, who addresses the crowd after Bibi introduces him. And there's a tragic eeriness listening to what he says.
Endured persecution and torture for his vision of a free Iran. I am honored to share this stage with you, and we are all humbled by your courage.
Thank you, Miss Gulistan. Durud, durud, durud! Baradara wa khahara! This government represents a regime whose leader, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, came to power illegitimately.
Come on, Reza, join in.
The deputies appointed by him in our Senate and Majlis are therefore illegitimate.
That's right,
We,
illegitimate.
the Iranian people, we must never forget what happened at the Cinema Rex by the hands of the secret police, the Savak. They trapped 425 innocent women, children, and men inside the cinema and burned it to the ground.
Of course, it all falls apart when the military shows up and Reza's hardliner cousin Ali begins throwing rocks. Chaos breaks out, people are hurt, and in the middle of it all, Abbas ends up stabbed, betrayed by someone on stage. From here, we photograph the unfolding panic, help patch up Abbas, try to figure out who stabbed him, document the violence that took place in Jaleh Square, the infamous Black Friday, where 269 civilians were shot by the Iranian military, killing 64 of them. And all of it carries this dreadful inevitability in the pit of your stomach, as you'd expect, because there's nothing you can do in the grand scheme of things. The regime will fall, another will take its place, and stab in the back every other group that made it possible for them to take power, and so many good people will pay the ultimate price for demanding better. I've glossed over a lot of the experience because I want more people to play this, especially at a time like this. It's only a couple of hours to get through, the mechanics are not challenging, but it's worth playing just for showing a more authentic and human look at Iran than we often see in media. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below, whether it's a game you'd like to see me cover, what you thought about the one we just discussed, or to tell me about your pets. Special shout out to my patrons and YouTube members who are all very handsome people, and if you'd also like to be called a very handsome people, you can support the channel through Patreon or become a member here on YouTube. Either way gets your name in the credits. If you're into live streams, you can catch me every Wednesday on Twitch at 8 PM British time. All that being said, don't forget to drink your water, take your medication, be kind to yourselves, and I will see you all next time.